Oy vey.
Oy vey. Oy puppy. Hi.
Hey, welcome back. We're still here.
Another Monday.
Yeah, so Pride. We went to a Pride picnic in Sheboygan.
We volunteered.
Well, yeah,
at
we didn't. Yeah.
the Pride picnic in Sheboygan, and that was fun.
Honestly, we both decided that from here on out, I don't know, like Milwaukee Pride was okay. We didn't love it.
It was less than okay.
It was less than okay. It was mid. And so I think moving forward, as we continue to get older and just more seasoned as like being out and sharing our journey, like I don't know if the flashy like scene over in Milwaukee is it for us.
It's not it for us. I think now that we're comfortably a part of the community, we don't really need all of the extra flashy stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
The Sheboygan Pride picnic felt very family, more family focused.
There's like a great speech from the mayor.
Yep.
I was like, it gave me chills a little bit to hear it.
Yeah, it made me proud for sure because not all mayors can get on board with something like that. So
yeah, there's just and the music was just very
sad lesbian music.
That and just like very representative of non-binaryism, like just queer sharing history about queer history is important, obviously, even going back to our last topic on whether or not people agree if you can be labeled one thing or the other or have multiple labels layered on to your identity. So it just felt really good to be there. I think also knowing that we were just featured in the Sheboygan Press, sharing our story and our journey, I think that just made me feel like really connected to everything that was happening around us. And we said after we left, like next year, we really want to aim to have a booth actually set up and represent ourselves there.
Yep. It's my goal to have a booth next year. I enjoyed volunteering, don't get me wrong, but 100% next year I want a booth, fashionably late booth.
Yeah, with merch and all of the things. We were giving out some of our bracelets and stickers and stuff, and that was fun. Some people refused them though. They were like, "I am not fashionably late," and I was like, "Okay."
That's the first time I've heard someone respond with that.
But it was like an older person. I have no idea if they were like just an ally or part of the community. Like,
they seemed like maybe they had a few drinks too. They were really feeling themselves.
Yeah.
Either way. It was a good weekend. We had a really good weekend in general, though. I think I enjoyed our weekend.
Yeah, lots of busy scheduling things with kids, but like we have mastered the idea of like finding sweet little moments to relax and really be present versus just like planning it all out and then chasing our kids around. Like we've mastered this, and you guys, I think it's so important as parents to allow yourself the reward of sitting back and relaxing while your kids are enjoying the fun.
Yeah, best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Finding places that they can enjoy themselves and still be safely within your monitoring presence, but doing their own thing.
Yeah, and like allowing them to yell, scream, throw, like whatever it is that they need to get out, because like not every kid is just gonna sit like prim and proper and read a book these days.
And I'm sure it's easier for us because we have so many. I'm sure that parents of like one child are probably like, yeah, that doesn't work.
You can go sit quietly at a restaurant. We can't do that.
Or like taking them places and being like, go do your thing, because it's a little harder when you're just like solo. But we learned quickly that our kids make friends very easily, and they're happier out doing their own thing
in their element and just allowing them to just be rowdy.
And then we lay on the beach or do whatever we do and get sunburned and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. And we great. Like looked for beach glass yesterday, and it was just a good time. It was a good time.
We found some cool beach glass.
We did.
I think. The silver one's my favorite.
We did. We really did.
Yep.
So let's dive into our topic for today.
So our topic is kind of like not really, I don't know that it's really a topic. We started watching The Queer Ultimatum.
Season 2.
We watched season 1 last year. We loved it. it was like the drama that you needed with like the new. I had never watched a queer.
That's the
show
thing.
Like
it was
that.
like it was like the first, like, for us. I don't know if there's other ones that we just didn't know about, but like it was the first queer representation
dating drama show.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it was like I can relate because these are all people like me.
Yeah.
There were a few things about last season that we were hoping would change this season, and I'm sure, I think we shared it here on the podcast. We were asked to be on the show at one point, even had some back and forths with.
Yeah, if you don't remember that, I'll just set it up. So I found it interesting because when one of the people from the Queer Ultimatum reached out to us from the set, it was all through an Instagram DM. And I thought that shit was fake at first. Like, I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
But we have friends who also received the same invite. Yep. So keep that in mind.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this call because I'm nosy. Curious. I'm nosy. I want to know the details. I want to know how, because like
we were still long distance at the time.
Yeah.
We had not moved in together yet, which was part of why we were like, the fuck?
Yeah. And I was like, how did you find us? And they literally said, through a hashtag on one of my posts, like queer something. Love, queer couples, something, a hashtag.
Yeah.
That's how they found us. So like the desperation on their side was like in, because like they're literally searching like, let's find people through these, through hashtags, which, okay, great to know.
So we get the invite, but I also want to make it a point, because I don't think we've even talked about this now that we've been watching season 2 a little bit. Our good friend Courtney, my good friend Courtney, also got the invite.
Yeah.
And we had joked about like, fuck it, let's just go do it, and like we'll pick each other.
Yeah,
as
set it up so we
couples. And now thinking about doing that is like, oh fuck no. Like, yeah, there's just no way it would have ever worked out. But anyway, okay, keep going. So
they ask a lot. So this whole phone call that I had with the person, which is so interesting now watching the show, because like the host of the show is straight as a fucking board and
has been married to a man for like 10 years.
No queer representation whatsoever. When I did the interview for us as a possibility of going on the show, which, let me just be clear, there was never an ultimatum ever. Mm-mm. They didn't know that, but they were checking, right? And so
we knew right away we would never say yes.
But the person that interviewed me was a non-binary person. Mm-hmm. And we connected hard. I was like, dude, let's like reach back out to us, like not for the ultimatum, but just to like to see what other shows, possibilities, like what else is out there for us, because we did not align to the queer ultimatum. Because we weren't giving each other an ultimatum.
Yeah, because after you shared with the person our story a little bit, they were like super intrigued by what we had going on that really didn't fall into what they were looking for at the time. They were like, but they were still like, holy shit.
So I think some of it was like, I don't think they were expecting me to be of the age that I am. I think they thought I was a lot younger. And now seeing the show is like everybody's
they're
like
all between
30 and under,
and 31.
So they were probably thinking I was just an old bird, like, get out of here. And then when we tell them like, well, we have all these kids and we're long distance and we're still technically married. And that was one of the cutoffs. Like, you can't already be married and be on the show to marry somebody else. Like, you can't do that. So like, we were never like a runner up, or like they just inquired, right? But it was interesting. It was interesting to talk to the person. You make peanuts, like you were not making any money.
Really, I think the best part of it that we were like, ooh, that sounds nice, is that you do get like a full 6 weeks in, where was it? Like it wasn't California, it was some beautiful island area basically, or whatever it was.
But it, like, looking at the show now, it doesn't seem like that's where it was like recorded. Really, so maybe budget cuts probably happened, and now they're like in these townhouses or something. We just got into the show, so we're not going to go too deep, but we're gonna give you our upfront perspective and overview of it. But some of the things that stand out to me now watching the show and going back to that interview with the person that reached out to us is thank fucking God. Thank God we didn't like switch up our story or try to find a way, because it was a little bit of a carrot dangling over our face, because we were still up and coming with our journey, sharing that and wanting to make sure we were moving in the right direction of like getting FaceTime on social.
We
and
thought
like,
about using it as a way to get ourselves out there,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But in hindsight, it would have been the end of us. We would not have made it through that
well,
TV
and there's
show.
so many things that you have to think about, because now that was 2 years ago when they started planning, and they were filming like that same year. They were filming like in like February or something like that. So and you can't talk about it, you can't post about it, you can't share any details until the show airs. And there's always a risk or a possibility that the show never airs, and then it's just like, we don't talk about that. So that was a, I'm sure the people on the show, and like now they're finally like getting some traction, but that's like years down the road.
Well, okay, so we don't like that they don't do pronouns.
I thought they learned their lesson last year.
They do no pronouns in introductions.
They were called out for that hard.
In fact, when they do introductions in the show, it's very sporadic. Like, you meet the people all throughout the first 2 episodes, basically, and
it's hard to follow.
It's very hard to
follow.
Like,
we were like, why are they doing it this way? Like, it's really hard to track who's who.
It's hard to keep up with who's ex, and then they call each other their exes by the second episode, and you're like, wait, but you were just... It's very confusing. They don't line it up in a very easy to understand way, and they never at any point talk about pronouns in any regard. The other thing that I don't necessarily like is that I feel like most of the people on the show went into it already ready to date. They did not go in there. There's 2 people in the show right now that I think went in there with the right intentions. Other than that, out of all 12 of them, they come across in a way of fuckboy and skank to me. Like, half of them are fuckboying it up, and the other half of them are just like, whatever, I'm here. Touch me,
and like
me, whatever.
We'll just say like, no, we don't know. Like, we're like, what episode are we on right now? It's like probably like 4
or 5. Yeah.
So I mean, but like, we'll just say like AJ, like if you're watching, AJ is a fuckboy, and like went around and told every single person like that they were having some really deep feeling, and like, okay, like maybe you do connect with people on a deeper level. It doesn't mean like every single person you meet is potential for a trial marriage. Like, get the fuck out of here.
And here's the thing. I think there are a group of lesbians, and it's not a bad thing, but there are a group of lesbians who do have a certain look to them, and they can look at another woman in a certain way that makes them feel very seen. There's just something about like certain eye contact and movement, especially in masked lesbians, and they have this like suave kind of like look to them.
Do I have it?
You do, and that's you do fall in that category. AJ,
I'm so excited.
However, uses that to her advantage in every single situation, and like even the whole way that she'll like sit across from them and just like
body language
stare
is
into
on
their
point.
fucking eyes, and then like, you know, and it's just like the whole fuck boy thing about her. I just want to shake her and be like, you're hurting people by doing that. Like, you think you're so fucking cool, but really there is nothing about that
you
is
were
attractive.
Like, you were like narcissist. No, who did you say was a narcissist?
That's that blonde bitch.
Dana.
Oh my god, I would fight her.
Dana's a narcissist.
She's controlling.
She scares me. She scares me a little bit.
Anyway, so that was my first red flag with like just the entire approach, was that each couple went in there with at least one of the 2 in the couple. There was not a single couple that both of them I felt were there for the right reason.
Yeah.
At least one in every single pair was there to fuck around and knew it before they even got there.
And, you know, let's be real, like, they, like, the producers of the show love that. They're looking for people like that. Drama. So when they talked to us and we were like, this is our love story, and like we were so like put together, they were like, I basically ended the conversation with that person like saying, we need our own show. Like, we can have our own show. Like, here we are, fashionably late. Give us our own show, and it'll be amazing and real and authentic and down to earth and
fashionably late +8.
Very transparent, right? We're not like this mindset of like, let me quick run through and date 10 people real quick and then see who my trial marriage is. And like, the fuck, I just keep putting myself in the situations like if I was on that show, if let's just pretend for a minute. We were doing this last night. Let's just pretend for a minute we were on that show. Like, what would have that, like, who would we select, and like what would that be like? And holy shit, would that be just rip our heart out, knowing at that time we had never lived with each other.
Yeah.
And we're about to go shack up and pretend to be in this marriage with somebody else.
Let me ask you this. Now that we have lived together, do those feelings change at all? Would you be any more okay with it now that we have lived together?
Hell no.
Exactly.
No.
I think everything about that show is toxic. Everything about it is toxic, and going into it, you know exactly what the fuck you're doing going into it. There were 2 people in the show that at one point cried, saying they regretted it. One of them I do like, Megan. She's probably one of my top 2 people in the show.
I love her so much.
And I like her and her new girl together. That's just my personal opinion. The other girl, Brittany, who had like a breakdown and cried, while in the moment you feel bad for them and you're like, fuck, I could never do that, you're dumb because you did it to yourself.
Yeah.
I might like you, I might not like you, whatever the case is, you still intentionally walked into that situation, and while you're crying now, you asked for it.
Like, do you think like these couples like sat down, okay, so you got one person giving the ultimatum and the other, what if like it was a strategy, just like when we were behind the scenes, like strategizing, like, could we go on the show? Maybe not. And like maybe these couples, like maybe there really wasn't a true ultimatum, but they were like, fuck yeah, let's go on the show to get the, you know, the fame of
the
being
same
on
kind
the
of
show.
mindset we had.
And you know, just weren't like, we're thinking like, I could do this, and all of a sudden they see a different side of their partner and they're like, oh my god, like I didn't know you were so into just having a quick fling with somebody else.
I think that's part of it.
I think it destroys you. And like, so for us it was like, why would we want to go on this toxic show and destroy everything good that we have built from the ground, brick by brick?
Which it took a lot of hard work, and I think some of the couples that are on the show, not to discredit anyone, but like some of them have a dog. And that's their biggest concern, is their dog. No hate to parents of dogs. Like, cool, if you're a dog mom, you got
fur babies. I mean,
but when they're talking,
too.
She's like, in her interview, we're so serious. You know, we've lived together for 2 years and we have a dog.
And that is serious for some couples, because when you split up, who gets the dog?
Yes, but what I'm saying is we have 8 kids that we were currently working on blending a family with like real live human beings and moving across the country, and we didn't have just a dog.
Well, and that's the thing is like when we first started our whole entire journey, the very first thing we started realizing was we would say there's 12 hearts, and that's because we still had our exes like in our life, right? So we would be like, there are 12 hearts involved. It is not just the 2 hearts. This is super complicated. There's a lot to work through. And now we constantly are like, there's 10 hearts. There's 10 hearts. Speaking of which, that's why I want to get that new tattoo with the 10 hearts, because there's 10 hearts.
Did you tell me about that?
Oh my God. Yes, I told you.
Why don't I remember that?
Oh my God, this is embarrassing. Cut. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't remember that. You'll have to remind me what you're talking about.
Anyways, yeah, you know, there's a lot of hearts involved. And so, but like to people that don't have physical children and like they have their fur babies, like that is a thing. Like if you get a pet together and you're raising a pet together, I mean, that's something special for couples.
It is, yeah. But I think that a lot of those couples were just not at a place in my mind where it was like, you haven't really put in that much hard work, so maybe you're okay with like, you know.
Yeah.
Either way, I think that in general, lesbians or queer.
Let's be honest.
I follow mostly lesbians on TikTok, so I typically see a lot of lesbian content specifically. However, queer couples in general, I think, are really into the show right now. For an opposite reason of last time is what I'm picking up on. Last season, it was, oh my God, we have representation. This is amazing. This season, it's almost like, thank you for solidifying that my relationship is not like that.
Yeah.
And it's almost like an awful representation of queer love. It doesn't go hand in hand with how I personally have experienced a queer love or see couples on TikTok showing their love. Like, it's icky. It's very icky. It doesn't make me want to run to this community and be like, let me jump in, you know?
Yeah. I think in general, it's hard. It is like the struggle is real when you start to try to find um a series or a movie, show, whatever that has like that non-toxic queer representation. It's really, really hard to find. I like uh, comment if you have like a good one for us to watch, because the struggle is real. I constantly am like searching, LGBTQIA plus, like, let me find something good to watch, and it's like every single one is like so toxic and like misrepresented in a way. And I I strive for something. I strive for like more like The Notebook in queer, which is interesting now because, Brokeback Mountain has resurfaced, and there's conversations now happening about like how the media treated Brokeback Mountain at the time of it coming out as like a laughing joke, and there were all these memes and all of this, talk about the two men. And I've never seen the movie.
Me neither.
And now I kind of want to watch it because I'm like, people are like sharing now like tears and like how
I think, like we had talked about at the time, a lot of people my age, I guess at least, their parents wouldn't let them watch it because of that. I think that's the reason I never saw it, was because it had gayness in it. And it was a no.
Well, I think, but I think for me, like at the time, like I wasn't searching for representation, let alone representation in to men, right? I wasn't searching for that, so it really didn't appeal to me. However, like now I want to go back and see like what it was, because even if you go back to any films that did represent any type of trans in the trans community, it was always a laughing stock. Somebody like getting like grossed out or something. Like the way it was represented, it was so harmful to the community, and it still continues to be harmful. But it's just interesting. Like we need better representation, you guys. Like somebody out there that is looking to film something and you want real like authenticity, come to us. Come to us.
I think that I don't know, I'm disappointed in a lot of it, but I've felt that way even towards social media for a long time too, that the queer community as a whole, a lot of us just aren't doing a great job at like showing how great it actually is, even down to Pride. I think we fucked up at Milwaukee Pride this year. I don't think that we represented what being a part of the LGBTQIA plus community means. That is not what it means. That is not what it's about. The Ultimatum Queer Love edition is not what queer love is at all. And most TikTok transition fuckboy thirst trap bullshit, it's not what those people are like in person at all.
No, it's not. It's not.
We put this
it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. And I bet AJ is not all that fuckboy when she's off camera either. Like, my brain goes through, all of it goes through my head.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I love that we show up and we admit our shortcomings. We share our vulnerable, like, behind the scenes of coming out, all of the raw, real details, and every step of the way, we keep sharing it. And if this is your outlet for positive representation, thank you for staying. Let us know. Let us know what other types of things you're hoping to get out of this, so we can deliver back, because that is important to us.
Yeah, how else can we be a good representation of queer love? Like our article being in the newspaper and putting the podcast out, and that's all great and dandy and all, but the more we can do, the better, because we need to counteract all of the toxicity that's flowing, because I don't love it. I really don't. However, at Pride, the Sheboygan Pride,
the Pride picnic,
there was a family there that touched my heart a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish I would have gone and introduced myself, and I kind of regret not doing it. I said I would, but then I just got tied up with the volunteering stuff. There were 4 kids and their 2 moms, and all of the kids had shirts on that said 2 Moms Club on the back. It was so fun.
We saw that and we were like, we need shirts like that. Like,
and I told myself,
wear them.
I want to be friends with those people. Like, I just think it's adorable. And So if somehow, some way, those two moms end up hearing this,
reach out.
Come be our
Reach
friend.
out. Yeah.
Come be our friend. Yeah. That was sweet.
Yeah, it was. It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna obviously finish the Queer Ultimatum show because why not?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll hear us rant about it a little bit more.
Oh, I'll come back and tell you my final opinions. Don't you worry.
You already have some baked in for TikTok.
I do. I have a whole video that I'm.
And I love when you share your mind on TikTok because your storytelling is on point and easy to follow, and you just like you hit it all the high levels just like perfectly.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyways, happy Monday. I hope you guys have a great week. And it's July tomorrow, so what the fuck? Get into it.
Yeah. Yikes.